so funny. Like you grow up and then like we're so brainwashed that like it's so cool, like going around and blowing up people. Like I don't know.
All these military track. What is
It's
the
just to
purpose
harm
of
people.
this? Killing people?
To kill people and take over power.
dark.
Yeah. But in the show, it was actual really bad evil people. So
Oppressed.
it's okay. And it was just that. So
Fun fact,
good.
apparently
Nice.
Tina Turner owns one of these, which is crazy.
oh, nice. She's got taste. So if you had this truck now, which you could be a very lucky person to have it, well, if you can afford it, and each tire to be made through Pirelli, I think now modern day is $3,000 each tire. Yeah.
Imagine you driving that and look in my face, everything is red in my head. You know, my face is red because the GI bounce lighting.
Look like a tomato. Yeah. And each piece was different, right? There's all these different elements. You have a lower control arm, upper control arm,
It's mental.
spindles, reservoirs, shocks. Yeah, I really can't believe I modeled these things.
What was your mind doing this? You were nuts. This is episode 5, which is interesting because we swap, right? I don't know what happened there.
Oh shit! You already was recording. Okay.
Yeah, it's been recording for 5 minutes.
Oh shit! All right, cool, perfect. Well, let's see. We just did Vipers, right? Yeah, which was awesome. Yeah, I love doing these videos now. It makes me excited to think about what we did, to learn, and then gives me personally a lot of perspective. I know it's the same for you as we go forwards with building these out and talking about them and sharing them.
Also, for me, I love the fact we're doing this because see you and show me you process is kind of refreshing, kind of a time machine going back and remembering all those memories, which is reliving it again, and I love that. It's so refreshing and surprising as well. Now I just look in this image, I was like, oh wow, that's a super cool grading, you know, super contrasty and super photographic, and I love that. Also, I love all the shaders and all the small details there. Man, epic.
It's a good times. Yeah. What's fun now too is Carlos and I are 9 hours apart in time. Carlos is in Spain, I'm in California. So we have this big shift. And so I got really busy today and I asked if Carlos would be up for getting up quite early on his time, which is quite late for me. It's really quite unfortunate that we're never on the same time.
We are always in this kind of a clash hour, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm sleepy or I'm waking up at the same time as you. So we never have this kind of a lineup energy. We have kind of but we worked really well. I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah, I think while one of us is sleeping, I think one of the good things is that we're both independently disciplined. That we don't need the other person to perform certain things. I mean, we do to a certain degree, but we can independently work, and then I think we enjoy that independence, and then we can kind of come together when we need to, which makes it fun too. So, because I think we're introverts, but we're also extroverts, but I think we would naturally prefer to be introverts. I think.
I guess we are introverted by choice. I guess because we are busy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I love being with people.
Yeah, same. I'm social creature, but I rather just spending my time doing my own thing.
Which makes sense. Yeah. Well, because we enjoy what we do. It's such a fun thing, and I'm sure if you're listening to this, you enjoy it as well. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's true that I miss those days. You know, working in the studios, we my peeps. You know, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's great.
A lot of distractions. Yeah.
Also that.
Yeah, working in studios is amazing, but it's like, are we gonna do any work here?
Well, I mean, if you are fast, you can really enjoy being around peeps and
that's
doing
true.
your task maybe in the first 5 hours, and then the rest of the day just
first 30 minutes.
Yeah, also that.
You got to be really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what episode is this? Is this 5?
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know how this happened, but I switched to 5, and it was supposed to be 5 for you because you have the odd numbers. Now I have the odd numbers. I think this is when the switch happened, but I don't know what happened. But yeah, it's the Zodiac build. It is one of my favorites. One of my favorite MHC builds.
Yeah.
And I'll get into why, but
it's also a massive shift for us because we started, think about a sport car, and then we did this off-road.
Yeah. We wanted to do kind of mix things up a little bit. I think there wasn't a lot of people doing anything like this too at the time. If I recall, I don't think I remember. This is before. I think this is before I did the thing with Ken for Ken's truck, huh?
Sure.
I don't think that. Yeah, this was before that too, which is really fun. He really loved that too. He loved the Zodiac. He's like, what the heck?
Sure.
It's really fun. Let's dig into it. You ready?
Yes. Let's go.
Awesome. Start off with one of my favorite renders from this collection. Usually, and if you noticed a theme in the past episodes, Carlos and I are both kind of hard on ourselves, and there's times when we get really frustrated with the process. And I actually have a lot of problems with this build that I would like to have redemption on at some point in someday. But when I came back to this, before we make the episodes, we gather our references and look up things and kind of talk, so we have enough knowledge and then also remind ourselves. But when I first saw this render again, I was like, okay, cool. There's issues with it, but overall, it does exactly what I want it to do, which is takes the LM002, which is one of my favorite Lamborghinis, and does exactly what I wanted to, which the idea that I pitched to Carlos at the time was like, we should do Baja trucks. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, man. It took me a while. I was like, well, yeah, that could be cool. But then I remember you sending me videos over and over about Baja trucks. And then I understood, I see why you like it.
Oh, it's the best.
And I get, I get also in this kind of a mode. I just love it. It's crazy, man. I understood now the technology about going quick in this kind of off-road, which is crazy, with this massive wheel, with this incredible suspension system. It's mental.
Super crazy. I've had the privilege and absolute luck of being able to sit passenger in one of these things. It was actually Ken's truck, which totally miss him, and but that experience was incredible, and the feeling of these things is just I think they're like $500,000 super trucks. They're very expensive, but there's no feel. I've been in race cars, and I mean not crazy amounts of race cars, but a decent amount to get a feel for it. But there's a feeling that the Baja truck has that I don't even know how to describe it. It feels like an angry cloud. It's like two different weird worlds. It's very loud, and then you're just absorbing the world. And one of my favorite memories of myself with Ken is I was down right at the border of Mexico and California, and I met up with him and the team, the Hoonigan team, and he was so kind to be like, hey, you want to go for a ride? And I was like, yeah, of course. It's incredible. And I put the helmet on and everything, and we were going around, and Ken's is like launching it, and we're jumping, and I'm just laughing my ass off. And then Ken's laughing, and then we're like looking at each other and laughing, and then he just floors it in whatever direction. And we're just driving, going like 120, 140 miles. I don't even know how fast we're going. That's crazy these things go. And all we're doing is laughing like Beavis and Butthead the whole time. I was like, oh my God, my favorite driver. And now my favorite vehicle. And we're out there in the desert, and it was just such a good memory. So all of those memories and things come back to me when I come back to looking at these projects. And it's just like, man, I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful, and so thankful to have this journey,
So cool. Yeah. Love it. The good thing is even that in that moment, you knew this is something special, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's just
like, yeah. I had zero expectation, too. I just wanted to go and say hi, see the guys, and take photos.
Because you were there just only for filming and taking pictures, right? About, taking information about the truck, because you were supposed to do the reveal with all the new livery and renders, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then he asked you, all right, let's go for a ride.
That was how cool he was. He was like, my life's cool, and I'll share it with you. And it's like, how cool are you? Yeah, that's one of the biggest lessons he taught me, I think. It's just like, if you have a good life, share it with others and be a good person, So, yeah. So, Yeah, it was beautiful. And these trucks are incredible and they're so capable. So that was the idea. The original idea was, I absolutely love this truck. It's the first time I ever saw it. I was like, this is so cool. And it's exactly what I love, which is very stylistic Italian intentional design, which Italian design is some of my favorite design. And it's got that military aspect and that utilitarian aspect. But then I thought, they're so rare. I think if I pull some specs here, there was only, let's look at here. There was only like 300 built or something like that.
I heard something like that. Yeah, 300.
Yeah, shoot, I don't have that thing. It was called originally, I can go into some quick specs here, but actually, before I do that, I'll just keep going. But this was one of the renders. That was one of the big memories. And so thanks for letting me share that with you because, I miss Ken a lot. So it was, it's beautiful to have those memories, so, but yeah, so this was the Cheetah. This was the original concept that Lamborghini was
so wild.
I think, it's so cool. Like, it's so funky, but awesome. The Cheetah. So let me read this little thing I got. The Lamborghini Cheetah was Lamborghini's first attempt at an off-road vehicle. So it's their first ever attempt. It was built on contract with Mobility Technology International, MTI, which in turn was contracted by the U.S. military to design and build a new all-terrain vehicle. The basis of the design came from MTI and was largely a copy of FMC's XR311, which I'll show you that in a minute, which is a prototype developed for the military of the 1970s. In the 1970s, this resulted in a legal action with FMC against MTI and Lamborghini in 1977, so 7 years later. And then Cheetah was presented at the Geneva Motor Show, and basically they got sued, and then they couldn't develop this any further. But they had all these these concepts. And the original Cheetah had a rear-mounted Chrysler V8 engine, but they found out it was very volatile because all that weight in the rear and it squats, and you're trying to do high speeds, and it makes it really sketchy. So it just didn't do well. It was kind of imagine your first attempt to do something audacious like a vehicle, but then also think about we're gonna aim at the biggest market, which is the U.S. military. I don't think anybody on the planet spends more money on anything than the military in America. I'm just guessing here, but I think the military is. So it's kind of a smart idea, right? We'll sell Americans what they want. We have the Jeep and we have these other things, but this is before the Hummer too, before the Humvee as well too. So this was like the beginning stages. So very interesting. And I wonder where the automotive climate was at that time too, because this is Countach era. This is ultra crazy era of
super
culture and car culture.
Visionary, right?
Super visionary.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's like about how crazy it is being built for real. It's not just only one guy having an idea. It's a whole team. All right, let's do this because we live it. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That's a massive courage.
Yeah. Courage. And it's a kind of if it worked out, it'd been a very smart move because they would have had a contract with the U.S. military, and that would have been a huge money pit, like a money builder, They eventually developed this, and they developed this as a LM001, which is the first concept. Still a military vehicle. Still, I mean, come on, super cool looking. It's so cool, and you can see the LM002 in there, obviously too. But it's like, whoa, crazy, man!
This
look at those wheels,
crazy vehicle. What the hell?
Yeah, I love these lines. I mean, quintessential, Lamborghini styling. So cool. Just feel like the machismo off the Italian designer's pen.
What is that on the back? What is that with the wheels? Yeah, that hole.
This right here?
Black hole. What is that?
It's probably where all the man juice goes. I don't know.
To get access to the suspension, maybe? Or it's actually it's a hole, or it's just it's a grid or net?
Maybe for storage or something.
Maybe the camping thing.
I don't know. I don't have another picture. Yeah, it looks like it's a cupboard. So it might be just like access some tools or something. Because they have this back area where you would be able to sit down and stuff. But yeah, it's just like a totally inefficient vehicle. And then I'll show some stuff because there's some examples. There's a toy company. If you ever build models, there's a what's this company? Tamiya, I think it's called. I might be mispronouncing it. It's a Japanese company, I believe. And they make like the best replica toys. And even they had to use the XR311 for building out, like, I think the template for the Cheetah, from what I read. But yeah, how cool is this? Yeah, and this one's an RC car, so it's even cooler. Wow. So cool from the era. I looked it up on eBay. These things are like, the ones I saw are like $500.
Really?
I was like, wow, crazy.
That's expensive.
Yeah, nerds spend some crazy money on this stuff. Meanwhile, our computers cost like $20,000. So it's like, yeah, stoops. Yeah. Here's the XR311. I know when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, this is so like your design language.
This is really cool, man.
Yeah. It's got super cool. Isn't that cool? They got fully like leaned back windscreen. Yeah. And the approach angle is really high, so it's like you can climb over stuff. Is really cool. Yeah, and this is the whitest dude ever made. Yeah.
Well, wait.
Mr.
Is that
White.
coming with the toy as well? That guy?
Yeah, he's serious, man. That's the Stig pre-helmet. Yeah.
How big is that toy? Is that 1.18? 118?
Oh, 1/18 scale. I don't know. I can't read this. It's
probably even
small.
bigger. 110, 1.8 something.
What if it's life?
This is a massive
scale?
white guy.
It's at SEMA. It's just sitting there.
Actually, it's an AI robot.
Yeah. Now, at least look like they're probably like 1/8 scale, I guess, or 1/12 scale. So I'm imagining it's probably the same.
1/12. Okay, cool.
Scale.
That's quite big. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, we could probably get in it and drive around. So yeah.
So
this is so
sorry.
cool.
So what is the
coolest.
connection between the these XR311 and the Cheetah?
Yeah. So based on what I read, and I could be wrong, this is what the internet told me, is that the XR311 was being developed before the Cheetah, and it was being developed by a team at FMC, the company that built that and developed it. Those people in that team left FMC and went off to MTI and then started making the Cheetah. And they basically took everything from this XR311 and brought it here. And then obviously when it got revealed, FMC is like, well, I don't think so. And you can't just do that because this is very expensive and we're going to sue you. So you can't use it. And that's when Lamborghini almost, I think, fell under the weight of this lawsuit and had to basically fix it. And then, this happens a lot, I think, with companies and people aren't being honest and they're being lazy or whatever the reason is. Or yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe the people were horrible at FMC and the whole team left and they wanted to get back at him and then Lamborghini had to pay for it. I don't know. I'm not going to, I don't want to say anything. I don't know if that's true, but this is the facts that I read on the internet. So yeah. And then most importantly, what this brought up is a lot of fun childhood memories. The theme that goes through a lot of our episodes is like memories from when we were kids, because the childhood toys are the things that had those deep impressions on us. And then we're just adult children, and at least we're admitting it. And we want to just be kids playing with toys, but we want to be taken serious. So we call ourselves CGI artists. But seriously, we're just children. So
we are taking really serious our jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very serious about our jokes. But it reminded me of just growing up. G.I. Joe was like my all-time favorite thing. Ninja Turtles.
No, wait.
And like,
you mentioned Ninja Turtles? Oh.
Yeah, we're one day apart in age. Like, we're going to have all the same interests. Even though you're on the other side of the planet.
Well, we can talk about Ninja Turtles.
Pre-internet.
Wow. That hit me so hard.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe and Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah. It's the best.
It blew my mind. Yeah. It was obsession.
I really do feel that, like, we're so lucky to be, I feel like culture was built around how the things, like all the things that were awesome. Like, we grew up with Nirvana at teenage years. We grew up with Rage Against the Machine, teenage years. We grew up with Tool, teenage years. We got to see Star Wars as a child. Like, all of these things hit us at perfect timing. And I think that a lot of these things all built up to where we are now. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be an old guy.
We are, man. We are old. We are not even knowing what's going on outside, man. We don't know.
I don't even care. I'll sit inside and play with my G.I.
Leave me alone, Dad.
Oh man, G.I. Joes are the fucking
But
best
you know-
thing ever, though. Like the the imagination too. And I always wanted one. I just didn't have. I was poor, so I didn't have the truck, I think, but I had other toys.
So
But
yeah,
what
so
were
you
gonna
didn't
say?
have the actual track from Jojo. I guess it was super expensive back then.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I might have, but I don't remember. I would know. I think
Yeah.
I would remember. But I had
Yeah,
other shit
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Man, so you know what? I didn't know Jojo have this kind of vehicle. I have all the characters for Jojo.
What happened in Spain, dude? What happened? Why are they punishing you guys?
I think we were replaced by a Ninja Turtle with a van Ninja Turtle. It was incredible. So,
yes. Yeah.
But
The
this
Ninja
one is
Turtle van.
sick because it looks so realistic, so good. Wow.
Yeah. This is like a new one, I think, though. I think the
Oh,
old one is like...
Maybe the
I
green
couldn't
one
find it,
seems
but-
like I'm all. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny, like, you grow up and then, like, we're so brainwashed that, like, it's so cool, like, going around and blowing up people. And like, I don't know.
All these military track. What is the
It's just to
purpose
harm
of
people.
this? Killing people?
To kill
Yeah.
people and take over
So
power.
dark.
Yeah. But in the show, it was actual really bad,
Yeah.
evil people. So
Oppressed.
it's okay. And it was just that. So, yeah. So don't
For the
blame
good
us,
reason.
okay?
We
Yeah.
were doing bad things.
And I'm not pro-war, but I'm pro-badass trucks, okay? So, yeah. And I'm also pro-nature, but I'm like, oh, let's just take that truck and just rip right through all these, like,
All
poor
wrong,
animals'
man.
homes.
Our childhood
Yeah,
is
it's all wrong,
ruined
but-
by
oh, well.
all the bad things.
Just don't think about it. That's the thing. Just put the pedal to the metal and have fun. But how funny is this? You know, it's like the story through this. If you get a chance, like if you've never heard of this vehicle, just watch some videos on it. It's really cool. Very interesting past. Super interesting history. I don't even remember when I first saw it, but the first time I saw it, I was like, my favorite truck. Okay. Yeah, awesome. And then when I kept digging, I was like, oh, that's why. Because like G.I. Joe and all this stuff, it makes sense, you know?
Okay.
There's a sedan kind of version, which is like wild and crazy. And it still kind of works. Look how heavy it is, though. It's like, somebody put way too much weight where it shouldn't be in this
So
truck.
this is
Yeah.
a kind of I guess
funny.
is something like a special edition for LM002.
I think so. Yeah. This is like, so they only made so they made 328 and only like 60, I think came to America. And this must have been like a very small run. I'm assuming like at the very
Yeah.
end of the production line. Production years were from 1986 to 1993. Italians were not making cars very fast because 86 to 93, that's a,
Somewhat.
the time. That's, yeah. But hey, I'm glad they made it because it's cool. So props to them. Yeah. And here's probably my favorite spec, which is, well, I would probably take a black
Wow.
interior, but pretty awesome. Yeah. Found these pictures off the internet, but how
Man,
cool are these
there's
lines?
something about this truck. It always shocked me. It's about how wide is the tires.
The tires.
What the hell, man?
They're
But
huge,
for
dude.
what reason? I mean, I don't really understand fully all these industry process. You know, I build the car is crazy, and I can understand. All right, we're gonna go trying to make cheaper all this part, like headlights and all the tail lights, or maybe seats or steering wheel, taking from different brands and putting all together, kind of a massive toy. But then they build something super unique for the aesthetic or performance. Tires, massive chunky tires. Like, what the hell? Why? So
So
expensive.
cool. So expensive. So if you had this truck now, which you could be a very lucky person to have it, well, if you can afford it, and each tire to be made through Pirelli, I think now modern day is $3,000 each tire. Yeah, and I think they're designed to you can run them flat. I think that's one of the reasons, and they're they're just unique, and I think they're special to this vehicle, and that's why it's so expensive. But $3,000 a tire, that's $12,000 for all four. That's crazy.
This 4-pack of tires is the same price as my car. Great.
Yeah. Think about it. You could have 4 tires
in my garage, right? Wow.
What a loser, dude. Yeah. Well, there's 5 tires here. That's $15,000 for the tires. Man, that's crazy, though. Potentially one of the most expensive Pirellis outside of Formula One. I don't know. Yeah. Crazy. This car, or this truck, at the time, costed $120,000. And I did the inflation cost shift. So $120,000 at the time. That translated to modern day dollar. How much do you think that is when it was built to now? Yeah, $450,000. So if this came out now, it's $450,000. It makes sense because a lot of these kind of things, these specialty vehicles now, like, well, I mean, in my opinion, one of the better trucks out there is the Raptor R, or you have the Ram TRX, and those get into like the 150, 180, I think. I don't know, maybe 120. I can't recall. I haven't looked at them, but so that's pretty impressive that those things are basically what this is. But I mean, a Raptor R would rip this thing to pieces in all ways. But this is obviously, you can't compare a late 1980, early 90s tech to 2024 tech. But super cool. Has all the style, all the lines. Look at the approach angle is really incredible too. Like you can climb up stuff really good. Like it's got the right performance, like look and stuff to it. And I think after they lost the contract and the lawsuit happened, I think that they're just like, we're just going to make the first performance SUV truck kind of thing. And this was, I think, the first of its kind. I think it
was one of the first.
Yeah. So a total pioneer,
So really I've been watching videos about this car a little bit to get documented. And fun fact, apparently Tina Turner owns one of these, which is crazy.
Oh, nice. She's got taste.
I mean, obviously it makes sense for only really special people can afford this kind of vehicle. Yeah. 300 units.
That's actually Tina Turner driving right there. That's Tina Turner. So badass. Man, imagine this guy. Look, he's like, I don't own this. And I'm doing this to this thing.
I will feel so much pressure.
Oh, God. It'd be really hard to do this to this vehicle, I think, too. Because it's huge and heavy. And
imagine if you're doing that kind of drifting and then you flip and ruin the car for someone else. Come on.
Yeah. So good. Look at this thing. Look how it captures the light, too. Just
it's awesome, a massive sculpture statement.
It is a statement. Yes. It's totally Italian of its era, too, which I absolutely love. The other day I was thinking, how is it that Italians have this cultural inclination and understanding of beautiful design? And aesthetic. They have this incredible aesthetic. And I think a lot of it is like whenever I go to Italy or I get a chance to see like Renaissance work or work from masters of the Roman Empire, all these kind of things, like it's part of the culture and it makes total sense. And I get smashed by it. I'm like, oh my God. So it makes sense to have this form and understanding of, like if you grow up and you are in Italy and you are surrounded by the beautiful Italian culture, like it just kind of comes naturally. Like, no, this is how a vehicle needs to look. It needs to look like
it's your environment. You grow up.
It's beautiful.
So it makes sense.
It totally makes sense because I was like, how does this get made? How does this get penned? Like it's crazy and it's such a beautiful thing. And it's truly, I mean, there's vehicles that I think are really beautiful and their own thing, but like name one that has this presence. I guess you could say like there's maybe like certain vehicles, but they don't have this level, in my opinion. I think this is on its own thing. And remember, this is before the Hummer, the Humvee. So this is like a whole another thing.
For me, what I'm really impressed by is the history context about this vehicle and the courage. We are doing this and we believe in this kind of crazy vehicle. Imagine you in your room think about a wild idea and then gather a bunch of people creating that wild idea from your mind. It's just
cool.
mental.
I have so much respect for people that take these big risks and they do it. And it's like, we have the evidence of their risk is here. We have a red interior car.
So luxury.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. This one
is
aging
you know
really
what I
badly.
see when I see this kind of interior? I can visualize myself with my colleague or your friend, or even you know, just side by side. Imagine you driving that and look in my face, everything is red in my head. You know, my face is red because the GI bounce lighting.
Look like a tomato. Yeah. Yeah, this is the tomato car. Yeah. Tomato vehicle.
You're driving that car, you will be red for all the time you're riding. Oh, damn.
Yeah, this poor thing, it needs to be cleaned really badly. It's really dirty for it, as expensive as a vehicle. Because these now, they go for very expensive. I think they're very, very special collectors cars now. Look at these designs. I kind of grabbed these specifically. It's so cool. These like grills and lines and these like old lights and like look how this thing is held in by like a screw right here.
I wonder, is that actual
good.
Square shape, or is because it's being squeezed by, I don't know, because it's not a square. It's just everything is just kind of move and squeeze, you know, and the grid is just all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know. The front is the weirdest part for me of this truck. It's like, what kind of movement is that? Crazy. This is like a really weird shape, but it kind of fits the language where, like, is this like right here? Like that all makes sense to me. You know,
right?
It's like, yeah, nice, cool. And it's like, like over here, it's like, no, what the hell is that?
I can tell the headlight. The headlight is
bold,
leaking light behind. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like interesting, super cool though. Just awesome. So much character. I wonder
something. Yeah. Is that the wing mirror is from the Countach?
Oh,
yeah.
Looks like it kind of, or similar like language or something, huh? Yeah, maybe, because it looks like each generation had different. This one has that same one, but I've seen one that has bigger mirrors, and like this one has. Look at this one has different mirrors. Yeah, because like those are kind of small for such a vehicle. But yeah, red interior, and here's like some of. So I had a bunch of Baja reference. I just didn't grab it, but
here we go.
Remember, we went pretty deep into.
Here we go.
It. Yeah. Yeah, because these machines are seriously impressive. Like, if you don't know about Baja vehicles and trucks, and like, I urge you, it's one of the coolest things because it's the endurance. I love endurance sports, you know, and I love endurance motorsports too. And I love these vehicles because they're literally designed to float over the most crazy stuff. And this is years of engineering that you're seeing right here unraveled. And it's like the control arms and the external reservoirs and the bump stops and the trailing arms and like all of these things. Like, I was kind of familiar with what they were, but when we did this project, I think what I told you is like, okay, I think we need to design, because there was nothing out there. There was no asset. There was no 3D asset we could get that was going to live up to it. So I was like, okay, I think I'll go and try to figure this out and use CAD to do it. And that was a really fun process. It was really challenging too, and I learned a lot, and I forgot most of it, but I remember watching a lot of videos, and Carlos and I both watched a lot of videos, and just learning about how these incredibly beautiful,
it's true that you
work.
pitched me about this idea, and at the beginning I was like, oh, okay, cool, we can do that, but you were really serious. I think somehow inside you knew this is going to happen, so you were really into it immediately. Like, yeah, we can do this. I can actually, you mentioned I can build the CAD or the structure and suspension system for that, and I was like, yeah, cool, right? You can do that. And then you impressed me about your determination, your tendency to creating all this part by hand. But what surprised me even more, it was the understanding, because this is not easy to do. I can do myself, I can do the modeling, but I need to understand what I'm doing. Otherwise, you ended up in this rabbit hole of reference. You need to connect the dots. Otherwise, you get lost about pictures based on pixels. Doesn't make any sense. It's crazy, man. What the hell?
This was the time I'm glad that, thanks for that. And thanks for pushing me and also supporting me through it. Cause Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of work to try and find. What I would basically do is I would try to find blueprints, and I'd find these online, and I would try to find left, right, back, forth, all those things, and project them into a dimensional program so that I could model them. And each piece was different, right? There's all these different elements. You have a lower control arm, upper control arm, spindles, reservoirs, shocks. Yeah, I really can't believe I modeled these things.
What was your mind doing this? You were nuts.
It was going crazy. This was probably the hardest thing of all of them to build and model. So this is before plasticity. Plasticity, I think, it's such an incredible program. I was using Fusion 360, which I think is really great for manufacturing and engineering. It's kind of like a SolidWorks, but a little bit more simplified for users. But it's also a very powerful tool. But there's tools and things inside of plasticity now. It's like you couldn't just grab things and extrude and move things around. Like you just couldn't do it. It was really impossible to do. And as you mentioned too, I wasn't just going like, oh, I'm going to make it kind of right. I was like, no, I'm going to make it as a blueprint. I'm going to copy the blueprint exactly, and I want everything to line up exactly as I have it. And if it doesn't, it's not worth it. So yeah, I did it all. Yeah, the bolts. I didn't make the brakes. No, didn't do that. Brought that in.
That's clever.
Did everything else here. Yeah. Well, I don't want to kill myself, but yeah, it was cool because then also designing like, the rear drive train and all that stuff, the axle support and all these trailing arm supports and all these different linkage and stuff like that. Trailing arm linkage, I think it's called. I can't remember. I forgot. And like understanding how the rear sway bar system works and stuff is so cool. There's so many cool things and bump stops and like how it all works. I'm still obviously a complete noob and novice of this stuff. It's so cool, but it's fun to go down the rabbit hole.
That was the time you gathered all those Ken Block track reference, or it was before, or was after, or it was before?
When we did Ken's truck, what we did is we had I forget who ended up taking photos. I think it was the people that were building the truck. I said, take photos of everything. I need like at least 1,000 photos. And then I worked with I believe it was with 3D, the team, because I didn't have time to model that. I was not that proficient, and yeah, those poor guys had to deal with me basically pixel fucking everything. This is wrong, and me being as tenacious as I am, and this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. But yeah, learning. There was just so much learning here. Yes, there you go. I wish I could give props and thanks to some of the people that laid out these diagrams, because it was extremely useful. I basically just took their diagrams and then made them my own, but I used the main junction spots and mounting points and connected them properly, because I knew that down the road we were going to just use this. While I was doing this, you were building the tire, and the tire was like a whole nother thing that I know we'll get into the Vanguard too, but the tire is so important, and you really did an incredible job. But I wanted to step up and have my part in participating and also contributing, and I knew we would just end up using it, which I think we ended up using it on. Did we use this on or maybe we used a hybrid version? I think this and a couple other things.
Yeah, I think we used these twice. We used in the Raptor R, in the Meta, and the Vanguard, and the Zodiac. Yeah, 4 cars.
Which is, it's great. It's 4 cars, and maybe we can use it again down the road, because it's still like, this is cool. It still works, and it still has a nice.
You know what? I can see these.
Maybe we can make it in plasticity in like a minute.
Maybe not, but in 20 minutes, yeah, I can see that. No, but it's true that to me, obviously creating these technically is a lot of effort, but to me also is really impressive is understanding. So I'm going to do this. I understand the shape and the functionality of it. Otherwise, you just gather stuff in CG. Yeah.
There's no point. We're really trying to do our best to make reality. Shout out to our friends at 1552. I actually have these wheels on my Raptor, and they gave us the file so we could use it for this, because I was like, hey, we want to put this on our trucks, and they're like, here you go. I'm like, yes. And they fit the truck and the design. They're such a beautiful design, and they fit the truck perfectly, and that was awesome. Here, this is like taking all the CAD and bringing it into Corona and Cinema 4D, and seeing how everything connects. I mean, it's like, oh God, I'm like getting PTSD looking back at all these things. Cause it was intense. It was like an intense couple weeks. I remember just like nonstop. Okay, today's the steering linkage.
Man,
okay.
I wonder why. I mean, I don't like the question about why, but I try to be specific here.
How dare you ask why? How dare you?
Why you push so hard on this one? It's mental, man. I mean, it's because maybe because
it's kind of because of you. I think it's you. And
it's because I did already the tire, and then you were all right. I need to keep up with the game. Or what was the reason?
I don't think you did the tire yet. I think I was going crazy with this, and then I think you're starting to do the tire after.
It actually was me pushing hard because I saw you doing this so deeply. I need to do an incredible tire. So I think I spent almost 4 days nonstop doing the tire.
The tires are incredible. Yeah, this is before texture, I think, but yeah, the tires came out incredible, and it was just. I think for a long time I've been trying to find a creative partner that can match my insanity.
Hold on,
and I found you.
What the hell? Not really.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, you want to go crazy? Okay, we're going fucking crazy. Yes. Yeah. And it was I think it was just that. And then at the same time, I find this stuff fun. It's interesting. And I know people have remarked like, oh, this is a CGI. It's not building a real car. But I'm just telling you now, if you're a person that said that, I challenge you to make this. Just do it, and then send it to us, and then I'm gonna rip it to pieces. Nah, just kidding. I don't mean to be mean, but yeah, it's really difficult. It's a lot of time, and but it's fun. It's such a fun journey, and I'm sure I messed up all over the place, and there's errors everywhere. But it taught me a lot about suspension and understanding suspension and how suspension works. Thankfully, I have like a pretty novice understanding of cars because I've owned a lot of them. I've modified a lot of them to a certain degree, so I understand how the basis works. But I love mechanics, and I love engineering. I love the science and technology behind things, and anyways, this was cool. A fun thing and big highlight.
I mean, this is super cool, man. Because for me also, it's really good to have that knowledge putting together in the really specific way, so I'm able to understand. Super important. You're doing that because that function, because I have no idea about mechanics. So to me, that all the reference you can gather from internet is really confusing for me. Or what is behind, what is below? So that arm is connected with what?
Yeah.
So that axis with what? Yeah. And then you building this is a perfect blueprint to understand it. Oh, as a child. Oh, I see that connecting with this. That what is the name of this? That's transmission. Oh, what is that? The spring to, all that is so cool to see that. And yeah, I'm so grateful. I was able to gather this incredible cat and put it on my track. Yeah,
it made me so happy too. It's like, it's probably the same feeling you have when you build the tires and we put them on the cars. It's like, yeah, that like it's a pride of ownership. It's a pride of building. And it's just cool, so I'm glad. It makes me happy. And it's also like I have this, I have an affinity for 3D CAD modeling. It works better than polygonal modeling for me. I can kind of understand the shape language and how to cut things because it works better. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I'm stoked. That was a definite highlight of the project for me.
Yeah, because the plan was both of us, right? You were building the mechanics and the suspension system. I was doing the tire, and then sharing those assets.
Yep. Yeah. This was kind of the first time we did a big share like this, I think, too, because the previous cars were kind of like, share a couple things here and that, but now it's like, we went a lot further into it. And I don't know, I'm going to dive into too deep. This is probably the most important image of this entire episode. So just mark this in your memory. I don't know why and how this happened, but we like to prank each other. And I don't know if maybe you opened the file and did it to me.
No, I think it was you testing your performance and your capabilities on the track in CG.
I was like, look, if this thing is going down the road, and I think I was testing the suspension, seeing if the big pair could actually weigh it down, and it didn't. So it's just nice.
How heavy could be a massive pair like that?
Just us being goofballs. Yeah. These were times where I was like, oh man, it's so cool. Like I can start to see it when you get excited about your render and the view part. It's one of the best things. It's like you can celebrate early and you know it's going to be great. I got burnt out towards the end of this project because I just I went so hard in the beginning and just like, at the end, the
It
render
was a
time, I
month
was
of
like,
process.
yeah, this is the longest one yet. I think it was just really intense, and there was a lot of work behind it. This is the stock car. I think this is a Squire car, really great model. And I actually ended up remodeling the fenders, both front and rear fenders, and a couple other things, or modifying them a little bit more. I can't remember, but I definitely widened the vehicle as well. Yeah, it was difficult. I think I had you helping me with the fender too, right? Because I got really lost in like how to link up, because it's not a clean, it's not a low poly. I mean, it's somewhat. And
No,
did you help me with this, or maybe it was Matt? I think Matt.
I think
might
so.
have
I
helped.
didn't
Yeah, I
touch that
think
track.
Matthew. Okay, yeah, it must have been Matthew. I think Matthew was helping, because we were doing the other project we were doing with Matthew at the time, and this might have been around the time I was doing the Saab with him. I can't remember.
Yeah, shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Matthew.
Matthew. Love him. Such a G. Matthew Bellamy. Yeah, such a cool guy. But yeah, I think I was like, how do you do this? And he is a Cinema 4D, and he models really well, and CAD and Cinema 4D, and he was kind enough to help out. Oh, damn, we got 2 pairs in the front. Yeah, sick. The headers, you can see the headers through here. So cool. Yeah, and it's like, oh man, exposing more of the vehicle. Ugh, shit. Yeah, but yeah, this is when I was really getting excited about it. And then seeing the suspension all there, and I was like, yeah, it's all there. The funny thing is, when we ended up building Ken's Baja truck in CGI for release of the final, I was like, man, there's a lot of things I missed. I got the main pieces, but I missed, like, there's a bunch of other stuff that goes into these trucks that just makes them really crazy. So this is like an ultra pared down version, like a cheap man's version. But the pro ones are just like, there's just craziness going on everywhere. So yeah, this is, I think I was trying to select areas and loop select and pull. Yeah, it was basically impossible. I think what I ended up doing was like cutting a loop out and then rebuilding it and then relinking.
Yeah, basically as a real life, right? You cut a piece of metal or plastic, whatever, and then move it and weld it again, right? Whoa.
It was a nightmare. I absolutely hated it. If I did this again right now, I would just go to straight to plasticity and rebuild those rebuild it, because plasticity is the tool for us now. It's just an incredible modeling program, and they're not sponsors, but they're incredible, and they actually gave us their software to use, and they're awesome people, and so go support them. They're great. We really love their software, and it's been incredible.
Yeah, I cannot wait to show the behind the scene of one of those projects of plasticity. It was a massive shift in our process.
Yeah, well, mostly yours. You're taking it you're running with it. So I'm letting you lead with it, and I'm just sitting back and going, "Damn it, I'll join you soon." But yeah. And typical for me is I make options.
So many rendered. What? Man.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, a lot of options. Hey, I got to exercise my choices, This is my favorite combo, I think, of the whole thing, which is
sick.
Red with white wheels. Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, it fits the thing. This is also, this is build 5, so I was still trying to figure out a lot of things. This is not a bad option too, this like kind of navy dark blue. I think they came out in a navy dark blue too, so I thought that was kind of cool. But at this point I was just like so excited. I was like, oh my
I was
God.
too. I was also super excited to see my wheels working so well in your truck.
Yes.
And I saw that.
Yeah, because it's all procedural too, right?
No, actually it's a mix of texturing and procedural. It's a both.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the tires, I mean, we talked about this many times. Like if you can get the tires right, everything else falls into place. And your tires and the texture are just like, everything. It just all came together. I think all of our effort.
Yeah, I was under pressure in that way. If I can say pressure, it was more like a expectation, and I'm hoping that tire would work for you. Because we had a kind of blocky, rough geometry. I'm thinking, it's gonna be cool, but I knew it has to be really precise, really spot on. Because otherwise, if you see that truck without that tire, everything just fall apart. And when you start to play with all the renders, I was like, breathing and relaxing. All right, cool, it's working. Amazing, cool, amazing. Yeah, all right. I see your excitement.
Yeah.
It made me happy. Like, all right, cool, we got it.
Yeah, man, you killed it. Yeah, because like look at it without the texture, you know. But the texture, it's just masterwork. It's so good. Yeah, so good. Oh,
but
man.
Shout out to you as well, because you
freaking out.
You helped me out on the texture. You built all the graphics, all the letters and graphics. I think you did. You did. Yeah, you did all the BF and all the texture and all the.
All right, all credits to me then. Yeah. Just kidding. No, it's I guess so. I forgot that, but that's cool.
Teamwork, baby.
I'm happy I could help. So teamwork, baby. Yeah. So that was me with a lot of options. Yeah, and this is how you know I love the vehicle. If I do this, I absolutely spaz out for like 3 days and go, oh, look at this and color combo and just having so much fun and trying things, and it was just so cool. And then I think so. This is what happened: is I did all those things. It was a lot of work. You were doing the tire. I was doing the whole suspension and all that, just getting everything to fit. And then I got pretty tired towards the end when we were doing the fenders, and I was having to do the polygonal modeling crap, which just drives me nuts. And then to lighting, I was like, lighting rendering, and I think that led us into this part where we'll show in the Vanguard episode we'll do next. Is we had this awesome scene because you were like, I want to make a natural world, or how did this come to be?
I think I was starting using Cinema 4D, and I realized how easy it is to build CG in Cinema 4D. And then we had the time also with Megascan all the asset, which is really cool and easy to build terrain based on the scan asset. It was cool. I can build that really quick. But I realized that later with you, because I love this context of different approach of CG. You know, I used to work with full CG, and my timing buffer is quite specific, which is different from you. My timing buffer is really long, so I can spend really easy 3-4 minutes waiting for the IPR start to function.
Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Waiting 5 minutes just to see your IPR load up.
And for me, it's like I'm chilling. All right, cool. 1 minute, I see the buffer, memory's up, and then cool. Now 2 minutes. Yes. So for me, I'm enjoying that timing, just load up. And then when you came out like, hey Carlos, are you sure that the sync doesn't work? I was like, what? It's working. Well, after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Sorry,
man.
guys. So give you that context. Building full CG is really expensive. So you have to be in the right mindset. What are you doing exactly? So the difference is like,
you're much more patient than I am, and you see it in your renders too. The Vanguard renders in space are incredible.
Yeah, it's a different approach. You know, I think you have way more determined and more precise workflow where you want to achieve something you have in mind really quickly. I used to explore and spending hours just, what about this placement here? Doesn't look good. Let me tweak a little bit the EXR 32-bit.
Kill me now. Kill me now. Yeah, they couldn't be more opposite to me. I'm like, I don't care. Just, where is it? Yeah, but I love that. I love our different approaches. You're much more patient and more methodical, which I think renders, especially in the beginning, you would have less numbers of renders, but the quality would be so high, and still is very high. And it's like, I can't match that because I'm like, I just have a different approach. But as the years go on, I'm a little bit more patient.
And actually, I'm the opposite. I'm getting more anxious about and just get it done quickly. Come on.
And you're getting more renders too, which is interesting. Yeah, we're kind of inverting ourselves. Yeah. But this still, like, if you just stop it and look at it as an image, quite a beautiful image.
I can see now it
works out
just
nicely.
Get me, because I see the missing displacement on the main. I think you missed all the displacement here.
Right here?
I think only the raw geometry came out. Yeah, I think we had some issues because also the linking texture using Dropbox as well. So it was a lot of nightmare of I'm missing texture. I don't know why that doesn't work. The displacement doesn't work. So
oh my god. Wait until we start talking about the Group C project and all that stuff. The production problems we had with that was insane. Yeah. So people are like, "Oh, it's cool." Like, dude, 6 months CGI.
That's
hell.
too short.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, only a minute and a half? Come on, man. Yeah, it's like, I know, guys, we want to give you 20,000 hours of this awesome stuff, but we're still just hitting the problems with this stuff. I don't care who you are. This stuff is extremely taxing on your patience, because you could do something and then it crashes and then you lose all the files and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm just not built for it. I'm impatient and I want things now and give it to me now. Yeah, but yeah, I can't wait to go to the Vanguard, because I know there was some really beautiful renders that you did, and they just turned out super good. And that's actually I'm going to critique this, because this is good. This is a failure that I do a lot.
You said failure. Okay. Go.
Yeah, it's a
go for it. Go for it. Explain why it's a failure.
Okay, well, actually, I'll start with maybe something I actually like. The bokeh is good. That's about it. Framing, boring. And then I'll render something, and then I'll go in and I'll think, okay, something's weird here. Let me go into After Effects or my cheating programs and like lay stuff onto it that doesn't belong in the scene, isn't globally illuminating or lighting or dealing with the environment light, and then act like it's okay. And then tell my eye of that lie, and then, oh yeah, that's cool. And now 3 years later, I look at this and go like, you little cheater, this sucks. You put smoke in front of it as a layer and it's whack. So stop that. Stop being cheap. And I think I'm remembering this because of the project we're working on now, doing similar things, trying to explore, doing overlays, trying to explore. I mean, it's a little different, but yeah, it's just me seeing me trying to cheat. It's my old days of using like Photoshop and just trying to bash things together, make style frames very quickly, and those old kind of tactics coming to the forefront.
Man, I wonder something.
Yeah.
How often you cut yourself about your bullshit, and how do you define is a bullshit, or I can get away with this because it's cool? Or how do you define that line, which is really tricky for me as well? Or I did something I don't like at the time. Or I don't like because I'm doing this, but I can fix that doing this and that. And then after a few days, I call myself, oh, I think I'm overdoing it. Or I can see through the layers I'm not doing a good job. So, but you know what? Leave it as it is, because it was fun to do, and I'm gonna leave it. Or how do you deal with that? I wonder.
Yeah, it's tough, right? It's tough when you have to face yourself in your own bullshit. It's tough when you're like, hey man, this is not, it's like, okay, yeah, you mentioned like, oh, it's fun. Well, that's a good reason to do something. But if your intention is to make something special or unique or realistic, then you got to ask yourself if this is actually laying something onto a world that doesn't belong there naturally and acting like it's okay that's wrong, because that's just faking it, and you can only go so far with that. And for me, it's like, I think it's just a matter of having removed yourself from the effort and time and energy it took for you to get there, removing yourself completely. Now I'm completely removed from this image. I have no love for it, so I can completely rip it to pieces, and it's nice because then I can go, okay, well, I'll never do that. Don't do that anymore. Stop doing that, because that's a bad habit. What I should have done, this is what I should have done. I should have made a better camera angle. I should have went wider, less compression. Should have maybe gone a little bit higher, and should got a wider, and I should have used a VDB and created depth using VDB localized into the scene and placed it in a really good creative way where it pushed and create the depth. And that's what I should have done. At this point, the file was so big and so heavy and so annoying to me.
That's my bad.
I'm done. I'm stopping. No, it's not your bad.
I mean,
don't blame yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the
That's
environment
CGI.
was built by me. I was so heavy.
So heavy. Oh my God. I think it was like it used like 200 gigs of RAM.
I used to push my limit on the machine. And all right, I have to maybe another asset with a credible displacement. Yeah, it's consuming maybe 200 megs. All right, cool, that's fine. And then next one, and then building a 32 gigabytes of displacement. I don't know, while.
Yeah. This is before I had the AMD Threadripper too, I think. I didn't have the PC back in too, so I was using my Mac. Ironically, I still use my Mac. So there you go, everybody. I use the cheese grater Mac to do almost all of my renders. I do use my Puget Sound, my Puget Systems PC, which is incredible. It's got an AMD Threadripper in it, and all kinds of cool stuff. It's so loud, man. Turn it on, it's like that's how PCs are. They're just
I want to go back to our conversation about that, about cut yourself in certain issues and how to rip it apart. And now looking back,
good topic.
Because something like I noticed, depend on the people, depend on the artist or person behind of the computer, will get a cut about that issue in different areas. For in our area, we used to get caught more in the lighting, in the framing, and the lens, and all that, more like in the end of the road of the process. But certain people, I can relate to that. It could be technical stuff. It could be the polymodal loop, the displacement issues, the technical part of how to build a scene, how organize the files, or it could be maybe the mechanical. You did all the engineering part. It could be that, people get, cut in that part. They never finish a project because they want to be the perfectionist approach to get it done in the right way. Otherwise, it's not worth it. So they never cross that barrier of what is the cost, what is the backlash of doing it, and it's really hard. And I think it's a good exercise doing that. Just keep pushing and getting done, and you're doing perfectly. You know yourself, your limits. Either way, you keep pushing it and get it done, and then learning about that. That's to me the core process. You are aware of what you're doing, and then learning from that, and then getting done, because the next one is gonna be better.
Yeah, it's a great topic, and I think it's something that really haunts all artists. And I think the word perfection and the concept of perfection is excuse me. I fought with it my whole career. Still fight with it a little bit. I've given up on the concept of it. I think perfection for me was an excuse to validate all my pain to make something. I'm putting through pain so that I can validate it with this word called perfection. And perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist, and you can't quantify it. So it's a punishment, and it's a validation. And I don't think it's really, it doesn't do you well. It doesn't serve you well. It eventually will kill you. But there's a difference between that and just not doing it. I think that you can aim for the concept of perfection, but perfection itself, you should give up on the fact that it actually doesn't really truly exist. It's an illusion. And it removes the power from it, and then you can just focus on what matters, which is doing the work and getting it done and being kind with yourself and letting it go. Because no one cares about this except you and I, truly, and that's the thing. We care enough to have fun to do it and to make the time to do it. And that's the fun thing about it. And I think CGI and CGI artists, so I've done all of the different types of art. I think you have as well. Like you have a traditional medium background, you know how to draw. And CGI, in my mind, having gone to knowing how to paint in oils and gouache and draw in charcoals and all these things, these different forms of media, I think CGI is one of the hardest next to making movies that I've experienced. I think making movies is probably the hardest of all of them, but it's because it's dimensional, maybe video games too. But again, this is all bias in my own life experience, but CGI is so difficult because, and I know that everybody is listening to this, or if you're listening to this, you're probably a CGI artist, so you can probably understand this, but it's so cognitively taxing, and there's so many lies that you tell yourself through the process. And if you don't have objectivity and you're not willing to be humbled by the fact that you're always growing and always learning, and you have to be, and you don't have a partner like I have Carlos and I have partnership, it's really easy to get lost. It's very easy to get lost in the process. You get totally lost in it, and you can go on for years. I've seen it in other artists. They go on for years and they're repeating themselves and they're making the same mistakes. And it's like no one was there, and now they're so wrapped up in it that they can't hear anybody. And it's like, damn. Well, and I'll never tell them anything either, because it's like that's not my place. I'm not here to, bother with any of that crap.
I think also you mentioned having a partner is important, but sometimes even having a partner doesn't make the difference. I think the first step is yourself willing to analyze and be critic. And sometimes, again, it's a great line. You go crazy being really hard with yourself and and putting you down, and that's kind of dangerous game too. I've been there, and is always I think I agree. I think having a partner is always help to have a way more open view and context what's going on, giving more objectivity.
Yeah. How do you deal with the perfectionism aspect?
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. Yeah. You know me. I'm now working with that.
Yeah, it's a part of your thing though. It's your ego. It's part of your ego.
I think it's part of me. I've been doing that all my life. Yeah. There's part of myself, and since I have memories, I've been punishing myself, improving my skill set. And what have I been doing? It could be drawing, could be, doing go-karts. It could be, I don't know, playing tennis. Just I'm so competitive with myself first, where I want to.
Well, there's a difference between competitive and perfection, though, right?
I guess perfection, it could be with yourself, and competitive is because towards others. Could be that.
Yeah, you can be competitive with yourself, though.
So it's really similar.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. But that is my definition. That's who I am. I'm really.
Yeah. Well, so you tell yourself you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're getting deep, meta. Hey, you asked the big question.
Sorry, I didn't want to. No, yeah, it is really hard. I mean, still deal with that. I think, as you mentioned, having a partner or who you can learn with, that's the best you can do, and that's why I'm so linked with you, and we work really well with you, because I'm willing to improve myself, and that part is a big one. Just not be that perfectionist. I'm learning from you, not in the bad way. I think you have a way better, clever approach to be able to finish project. Otherwise, I will be even still doing the brawler after 3 years.
Yeah, I remember hearing John Lasseter, who was one of the original founders of Pixar. I believe it was him who said it. Or it could have been Brad Bird, who was the director of The Incredibles. It's one of my favorite Pixar films. But anyways, he said, projects are never done; they're just due. Yes, that's correct. And I remember when I heard that, and I chewed on that. I thought about it a lot, and I thought, this is true. They're never really done. So, like, I can open this file right now and go crazy on it and do all the things, and then 10 years goes away, and if I keep at CGI, I'll come back and I'll do it again, because so much new things will happen. Not only the tools will get better, hopefully, but my perception of taste and eye and evaluation of what I think is good will shift. And it's a moving target. So that, again, should remove the validation of what perfectionism is. Perfectionism, I think, is a lie we tell ourselves to deal with the pain of and the suffering of going further into the cave of the unknown, potentially. And I think it's a really beautiful thing, and it can be really nice, but it can be extremely disruptive and destructive as well. And I think for younger artists too, it can be very difficult to deal with, and you just got to be very mindful of it. But
imagine, because we were lucky growing in the 90s, so internet wasn't.
Hell yeah, we were. We had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Perfect.
Wait, you didn't play a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when you're
man?
20 years old?
This is not childhood without Ninja Turtles.
Sorry. Yes, exactly.
So
Sorry, you were
yeah,
saying.
we were lucky growing in the 90s, so there is no really direct comparison with the rest of the world. So now you have access to internet and see the masters succeed. Imagine as a child, what the hell? All that's the bar, you know.
Dude.
I remember my bar. It was my peeps and the colleagues, you know, drawing together. That was my
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Mine was like my
Yeah.
grandma and my
Easy.
brother. I was like, damn, these guys are the best. I had no idea there was people better than
Exactly.
them, you know. And now it's like, yeah, I really feel for the younger generation of artists. My biggest thing is please just go and do the thing that you love. And don't let anybody stop you from doing it. It's so important. It's so important to culture that you, the younger generation, are going to carry this through, because, man, if we don't have people doing art because of whatever reason, we have a big problem with culture. Because I wouldn't consider what we do art, but I'd consider what some people do art. So we're just having fun.
Yeah, I would say,
so,
but maybe we have the intention. That could be it. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to. Yeah, we want to be fancy artsy boys. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I think you could see that what we're trying to do with the latest Zelica build is we're trying to really play in that space and kind of talk about what this is that we're doing, and is it art? Can it be art? What's the difference between art that you hang and art that you drive? These are fun things that we really want to touch on with haste and everything we're doing. So, but yeah, it's all opinions. Again, the reason why it's so heavy, it's like politics. You can't really point to it. It's just like this ethereal, fleeting void of a thing that our human brain is. It's an enigma. Truly, it's like a puzzle that is ever changing. It's the concept of perfection. This is why, in my opinion, is best to just have fun, learn, be objective. Don't take it too seriously. Let yourself rip yourself a new one every once in a while and deal with it, you know. So, and kind of learn and grow. It's part of the beauty of learning. So if you're not failing and getting to the process of failure, it's like you're not really learning. So it's a hard part. I hate failure. You know?
So but coming back to the Zodiac, so you consider that as a massive failure.
This one, I don't. Yeah, okay. So this render, I still feel is good. If I made this render now, I'd be like,
yeah,
okay,
man. Yeah,
cool.
this
does
sick,
everything that I want.
What the hell? Yeah.
Yeah, the soft light. It's the even light on the window. The only problem I would probably say is I tried to cheat with this again. I know I did this and I cheated. Okay, I have texture issues on here. I have a breaking thing here. It's little things I would fix nowadays. But what I did is I rendered at probably 1920, and then I used AI upres again, and then I graded that, and there's that degradation on the image. I will never do that again, because I thought at the time, I was like, yeah, I can get away with it, because I was impatient and I wanted more renders.
Man, this is cool, man. This is really refreshing to see you reflecting on your renders and pointing issues or what you consider issues. It's great.
You see me fail, huh?
Yeah,
you evil bastard.
Yeah,
you just sit back. Yes, I could do an hour and a half of this.
Show me all your failure. I'm gonna be laughing loud here.
Well, okay. Hopefully this is good for you, and it's hopefully good for everybody listening. Yeah, or watching. Because, yeah, I think hopefully the goal is that we shouldn't take it too seriously and have a good time doing it and enjoy it, and at the same time always realize that there's room to grow, truly, and it's fun. And I think the most fondest memory that I have from this project is I think that this was one of the first times that we were able to share assets at a real big way. I felt like I was truly a collaborator and contributing between the two of us and doing something that was as extreme and as intense as the tire building was with the suspension and building that. So if it's really important to me, to have that. It's and I remember this render too and doing this, and I remember passing to you oh dude, come on, good luck, man. I thought I had it in the hole. I was like, you can't beat this. And then the damn Vanguard. Damn you, the Vanguard. The Vanguard's incredible. It's one of my favorites. I can't wait for that episode. But yeah, this is fun. But it was a lot of good memories, a lot of good times.
Wait, this one,
a lot of good stuff.
We already started with the ambient occlusion AO Corona shader.
I think so. This is when you really were showing me how all of this kind of works. One of the first times we ever had a chance to talk was you, me, and Kaisa, and we were doing a call, and you were showing us how you do that. And I was like, oh, man, this is so cool, because especially that was like the time I was using Octane, and I was doing similar stuff in Octane, but Octane does different things. Obviously, it's a totally different beast, an amazing renderer as well. And when you're showing me this, I was like, oh, this is really good, and it makes sense. And I think this was when I started to be like, okay, I gotta start taking this seriously. I think I really started taking the shader stuff seriously around the ESP time. I was like, okay, really need to get in there and start playing around and really understand it. Now it's like, it makes so much sense now. I know that you and I, sometimes I copy and paste because I'm being lazy, or sometimes I'll just build a shader because I'm like, yeah, okay, a little bit AO here, a little this, a little grit, and add that, and blend it with the filter, and then do this, and but yeah, this was pretty early on, the early age of that. And my color balance is all over the map here. My grade is absolutely messed up. And that's another problem I would have done. I would have fixed the grade. Right now, it just doesn't look good.
I think it's that too weird over the nose, the grade?
Green. Yeah, I think it's just too heavy. I think the image is lacking some deeper like spikes of contrast. I think I wanted true blacks, but I lifted the blacks a little bit too much. And then I think I just didn't, there's no true white in the image, and I think that's a problem. I think I should have added, just hit the peak right to the peak of a pure white. I think it would make the image pop more, especially looking at it now. And that's just me grading with a heavy hand. So yeah, here's that texture. Yeah, and then the red one, and this one looks like a toy, so let's talk about that.
I'll give you this, I love this grading. It's kind of a magenta. It fits really well with the red one. Yeah,
the red one. This one works better. Yeah, this one is like P. It's like rated with some heat on it or something. But so looks like a toy. Damn it, scale's wrong. Camera angle's slightly off, and the optics are wrong. I'm using like
120.
I don't know. I'm guessing 120. Yeah, it's just creating compression, and it's
something like I've been noticing you've been shifting lengths, and now you are playing a little bit lower.
Yeah,
like a 50, 35, 28, 40.
40. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a lot due to. I have it here. Let's see. Add my my macro filter on here, but like it's due to shooting with one of my all-time favorite cameras so far, is a Fujifilm Xe4.
Nice.
It's kind of small with this big thing on here. I was shooting some macro photography the other day of my medium.
That's interesting. So basically you are projecting now your new toys to CG too. Your brain works in that functionality of projecting lens.
Yes, I'm really starting to understand. Well, now that I'm shooting, I'm going to start shooting more film. I haven't even shot a slide film on this yet. I got like 6 lenses and all the gear and everything. So I'm such a dummy. But now that I'm understanding like how this format works, and then how this format got translated eventually to digital, and then how digital is then now translated to computer, I'm really understanding like the original, how this works. Because there's 35 millimeter film, and then there's 645 films is 6x45 centimeters, or centimeters, I believe. Yeah, and then you have 6x7, then you have 6x17, which is like ultra long. Anyways, there's all these different things that I'm learning. I'm still a student to it all, so I could have just said a bunch of wrong things, but now learning this, and then how that translates to how do I even break this apart? Let's see. So like it's like a whole another concept of an idea, but I need the dark slide in here. I'll show you. It's kind of cool. So like this camera that I'm holding is my Mamiya 645.
Yeah.
You see that size right here? That's the size that it captures on the. That's the size that it captures on the film when you roll the film through there. Okay, so if you remember that size, hopefully you're watching this, so you're not listening to it. And then on this, and this will make sense when I explain something here. And then this is the size of the sensor on my. This is why am I drawing a blank? It's really late here right now. It's not full frame. The hell's wrong with me? It's not micro four thirds. anyways, it's smaller. It's smaller than full frame. And what I'm getting at is that I'm learning about all of these ways that sensors and film types take light and how that the optics is transmitted through that light, and it creates different ways of seeing things, and it gives you more depth or not enough depth. And in the computer, if you don't know these things, you can just throw all kinds of numbers in and be like, I want like a crazy, like, 0.1 depth of field or something. Like, no lenses can optically do that. Light doesn't work this way. And so not only that, but it's also understanding your film back and translating all that. If you're trying to make reality, understanding the reality first and being a student of it is the key to making it work. So I'm in that process right now, and that's a kind of a journey. And who knows where it's going to take me. I'm really excited to start shooting film though, because it's just like
that's so epic, man. Thank you for giving you all the breakdown. It's so interesting, which is also super humbling, because coming from my background, which is also being in photography for years, but I thought CGI is cooler, which is really debatable. So we can talk about that. And it is cool. I mean, you can build anything and give you so many options. But it's true that understanding photography can give you way more context and power to create something more realistic in CG. Obviously, you don't have to create something realistic in CG, but in a way, as a human, we are connected with the reality, and it gives us more connection with what we do in CG. And I know, I understand what you mentioned about when you see this, it does feel like a toy and looks wrong. I can get that.
Yeah, it's wrong. The scale's wrong. It looks like a toy. And I know there's a lot of reasons. The light's wrong. The lensing's kind of potentially wrong. There's no scale. There's no depth of scale. There's no fall off that needs to work too. And then it's the camera optics and the angle and the compression of the camera. So there's just a lot of things. And these are all things that I'm just like, at the time I was like, yeah, it's fucking cool. I can feel it. And then now I look at it, still it's cool, but it's missing a lot of things that I would do now that would change how I would see this, So yeah, here's the white version. It's cool. Yeah,
show me that, the middle one.
Yeah,
I want to see the decals. Nice. Is that pattern made in Photoshop or in Cinema 4D?
Yeah, this is made in Photoshop. It's called Stable Diffusion, I think it's called, or Reaction Diffusion. Sorry, Reaction Diffusion. You can make it. Look it up. Nice. It's kind of a cool thing. If you're listening, like, you can Google it. You can make it in Photoshop. It's basically it's like fractals. It makes like an infinite growth system. It's kind of like works like it's really cool.
Doing sort of noise procedures and fractal, and then apply some filters to get kind of vector precise lines based on the noise.
Yeah, it looks like brains. Yeah, it's really cool. I thought it'd be kind of a cool like techno camouflage kind of thing. It's kind of nice. But ultimately, as always, I always lean into the black version because it's the best. My favorite. And again, it looks like a toy truck. Damn it, And again, too, I think I'm going to rip most of the older renders apart for that same problem. The thing I like about this is I do get to closer to white. There's a better high contrast on this image. But yeah, still the same problem. If this was a real studio, there'd be fall off and you'd have a more kind of a natural vignette because how big are these lights,
But so, I mean, the case is also a treatment. Sometimes it's really cool to see something more graphical. Everything is pure white, and you can get away with this kind of approach.
Thanks for validating.
Why not? Yeah. I mean, it always is subjective, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm also a huge fan of the work that you did at Ink and what the team at Ink does. They're some of the best, and I love those. I have the white. My buddy Nate got me the white GT40. I have that poster of that. It's incredible, and I'm not doing that here, right? Because I didn't want to do what they do because they do it better than I could. So why even bother? But I did a black version of it. So yeah. So I guess that validates it. Yeah. So it's graphical. Yeah, and that is the Zodiac. Dude, we are on 1 minute 20 pretty much every episode. It's about 120, 125. This is fantastic. It takes us about an hour and a half to explain one vehicle.
So now we know. We were wondering, what's it going to be, 35 minutes? Yeah, with 35 minutes, we can finish it.
We said that every time, too. Yeah. Shoot, this is a good one. I think, like I said, to recap some of the key lessons and things is I felt a lot of pride and ownership of being able to contribute to this project and to go crazy into the modeling and building out the suspension so we could use it. Made me really proud, made me really happy. And it's also one of my favorite vehicles. The concept of it's crazy, and I feel like I kind of by owning the Raptor, I own like its grandchild, you know, because the Raptor feels very much connected to the spirit of this thing, and I love that vehicle. So, and I love Lamborghini's design language, and they're the best. We didn't even mention that this has the V12 from the Countach in it. So that's like a crazy thing. And that's why it has all these bumps and everything everywhere on the hood and stuff, because it's like the V12 is huge and it barely fits in there. Yeah, there's no room in there, which is crazy. But yeah, and then there's just so much lessons and learn. I'm really hoping towards the later current episodes that I will be a little kinder to things. But yeah, and hopefully our talk on perfection, if you're out there, and fantastic question and topic for us to discuss, but if you're out there and you're suffering from it, hopefully our words have helped you a little bit.
Definitely. And thank you for be so amazing and open and vulnerable to rip it apart, one of these icon Zodiac build. It's great. You know, it's so refreshing to see. It's not often to see an artist be open in this way. You know, it's quite easy to find in social media, just reading comments, and everyone seems so professional, so perfect, right? And listening to this kind of a breaking down project is really cool and refreshing, even for me, because otherwise, to me, back then we were just hanging and grilling and just having fun, and now after years coming back to this project is quite cool in the good way to see you so open and discussing about issues. It's great, you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making a space that I feel comfortable to be vulnerable. So I appreciate that. Yeah, truly. Yeah, and thanks for that, because and this is the reason why we're doing these long forms, because you can't get these things across on social media. It's nearly impossible. They're so complicated to really kind of, for us to convey our personalities, how we work. So many people, I know that you know this, have asked us how we work and what does he do? What does he do? How does this work? And it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know, like on paper, sure, you could say this and that, but it's so much deeper. There's so much to it. It's just we're having fun making things, existing and creating, and that's it's a really fun part of this process, which we really enjoy. So, but yeah, thank you for taking this journey with me. I'm really excited for the Zodiac, for the Vanguard, because the Vanguard is going to be, that's a special one. That's a kind of a big shift, I think, again, for what we do and what we did. And there's a few reasons I want to dig in on that one, because it's really cool.
For both of us, I think.
Thank you
for
all.
Both of us, it's a massive statement doing the Zodiac and the Vanguard.
Yeah, big shift. Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you, brother, and thank you everybody that's been listening. You guys have a good one.
See ya.